Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, all we're from Tiger. Please hit subscribe. What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is our Godzirra back again with another AFL Teams and Tips video looking ahead to round 15 action. Thank you for joining me as always. As you can see, doing it a little bit differently this week. I've had technical difficulties with my laptop, which is why you haven't been getting much uploads, and I apologise for that. But after this weekend, we should be back on the mend and getting you guys a lot of gameplays I've been working on, so look forward to that. But we're here to talk AFL, and before we start, I want to talk about AFL Evolution because it will be coming back to the channel, and instead of doing it as an episodic series, I'm thinking we might do some live streams as well. So instead of doing an episode where we get one match, I might do a live stream where we can get 4 or 5 games kind of strung together. Get you guys involved with helping me pick the team lineup and everything else. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comment section down below. However, we are looking forward to round 15 action, kicking off tonight at Etihad Stadium with Richmond taking on the Sydney Swans, the game you are watching right here. Top of the table clash yet again, first place second. Richmond has David Asprey and Dion Prestia both returning into the team. It's good to have the meatball Prestia come back in. We've missed him since he got that injury early on in the season. Youngster Ryan Garthwaite has been omitted, which is unfortunate, but I think we all knew as Richmond fans, Asprey, as soon as he was ready to come back in, Ryan Garthwaite was going to get the chop. But I'm keen to see how he progresses as a player, because after seeing that first game and that effort he had against Hawkins, very good young talent. And Camden McIntosh has been omitted as well. Toby Nankervis plays game 50. Reece Conker plays game 100. For the Swans, Jared McVeigh and James Rose are both in. Tom Papley out injured. Harry Marsh has been omitted. It's going to be a very good contest. I'm going to back Richmond to get it done, however. You could probably say that's due to my bias, and it probably 50-50 is due to my bias. But I think Richmond have what it takes to get the job done here. I feel if they beat Sydney quite comfortably, they actually move in as premiership favourites, because a lot of people are putting money on Sydney to take the flag home. I predicted GWS would win it, and obviously that's gone down south. I think if Richmond don't go back-to-back, Sydney are going to bring it home this year. Lance Franklin might get that coveted premiership. He left Hawthorn to join Sydney to Ghana. However, I'm going to back the Tigers here. I think we've got what it takes. Prestia adds a lot of depth to the midfield. Asprey adds that next level to our defence. But don't discredit Sydney. They've been playing good football and they could pinch a win here as well. It's really a 50-50 game, but I'm sticking with my boys to kick it off tonight. Friday night action is still at the Etihad Stadium. We see the Bulldogs hosting Geelong, and we are going to back Geelong. No teams have been announced, obviously, because we're still early in the round. So what I'm going to do in the comment section down below tomorrow night when the teams, well, later tonight actually when the teams are named, I will drop a comment down below to let you know the ins and outs if you are keen on seeing who is in and out for each team before you do lodge all your tips ahead of those games. But as for this game, we are going to back Geelong to get the job done. I just feel they've got a little bit more depth. Even though the Bulldogs showed last week against North Melbourne, they can string some very good plays together with some big names out of that side. I thought with no Jackson McRae, no Easton Wood, they were going to suffer. And they had North Melbourne against the ropes for the majority of that match and probably deserved to win that game more so than North Melbourne did. That's just personal opinion. But I think the Cats have a lot to prove, and I think the Cats will get it done over the Dogs Friday. Saturday afternoon kicks off at the MCG with Carlton hosting Port Adelaide. Cade Simpson plays game 300. AFL Life member, one of only 4 other Carlton players alongside him that have cracked 300 games. He has been an elite talent for Carlton, and I still reckon he's got another 1 or 2 years left in him, so don't think he's going to retire now that he's made 300. I think he's going to well and truly continue on from this year. But I think Port Adelaide are going to get it done quite comfortably. They have been running into a lot of form. They have a good run home, and I'm going to go as far as saying I reckon Port Adelaide probably finish top 4. With the run they've got, the talent they've got. You got to think, Rockcliffe, Wingard, they're not even playing to their fullest of their abilities. Ollie Wines had a quiet game last week, and they still managed to do a 30-point turnaround on Melbourne to win the game. I seriously don't know how Melbourne could let them back in for that big of a turnaround, but I think quite comfortably here, Port Adelaide are going to get the job done. They're going into the game heavy favourites. No reason they can't get a 40, 50-plus point win against Carlton. Even though they showed good glimpses last week, Carlton, Port Adelaide are going to be way too strong, and it's going to leave Simo's 300th game a note, which is unfortunate, but unfortunately that's football. That's how the Dogs is dealt. Adelaide Oval, Saturday. Adelaide Crows, West Coast Eagles. Battle of the Big Birds again. I know Adelaide, there are whispers that Tom Lynch, Rory Sloane and Rory Laird are all going to come back in this week. If that's the case, I am backing Adelaide to win in Adelaide. Those are three big names coming into the side. And I'm going to rattle off a stat here. Mark LeCras, Josh Darling, and Josh Kennedy have kicked 45% of West Coast goals themselves. Take that into consideration when trying to work out what avenues are they going to score from. Last week, Essendon tore them up because they could not find a target up forward. They were long bombing, they were expecting their crummers to get it done comfortably, and it was not happening. Adelaide have the tall timber in defence to be able to stop that long bomb ball from coming in. I think West Coast are going to learn from their mistakes last week, but I have to back the Crows here in Adelaide. I think Adelaide a bit too strong. Going to get it done over the Eagles in what could be a bit of an upset, because I think a lot of people would expect Eagles to get the job done here. Actually, no, Eagles are way out. Adelaide a heavy favourite. So there you go, not an upset at all. But I'm still going to back Adelaide to win against the Eagles. Jack Darling and Josh Kennedy out of that forward line have left a bit of a gap. I didn't think it would leave as big of a gap as it had. Rules to slip Adelaide to pounce back with those ins coming back in. Saturday night, Metricon Stadium, Gold Coast Suns versus Collingwood. Collingwood quite comfortably here are going to absolutely belt the Suns into oblivion. It's upsetting to see Adam Treloar do his hamstring last week. He's an elite talent, and it is always sad to see a footballer do an injury that's going to sideline them for a little bit. However, even with him out, I think Collingwood get it done quite comfortably. There's a youngster from the VFL, his surname's Sear. It's either Braden or Brandon. He's been absolutely ripping it up at VFL level. He's getting his opportunity this weekend, I've heard, in Treloar's absence. So that's very exciting for Collingwood fans to see a young kid that's been doing a lot at lower level get the opportunity to now come up and stamp his dominance on the competition. Hopefully he can get a good run at it and we can see what this kid has to offer. But Collingwood quite comfortably over the Suns. It's going to be a good battle in the ruck. Witts has a lot to prove against his old mate Brodie Grundy, but I think quite comfortably Collingwood get it done there. And Saturday rounds out at Spotless Stadium with a game that is going to shape the probably 7th and 8th spot on the ladder, I feel. It is GWS hosting Hawthorn at Spotless Stadium. And I say it has bearing on the top 8 because if Hawthorn win, they can potentially move into the top 8. They're only a win out, or if they're out, I think it's by percentage, I'm pretty sure. With GWS, they're already 2 games out. If they lose this game, you can pretty much put a line through their finals chances. If they win, they're only then a game out, and they're still well and truly alive. But I'm backing Hawthorn to win, and I'm going to go as far as saying I'm thinking Hawthorn will finish around 5th or 6th. They've got a good run. They've got a lot of form. They've been playing good football. A lot of people have been discrediting them, saying they're not going to make the finals this year. I think those people are delusional. Hawthorn have every chance of making the finals, have some of the best players currently running in the comp, and I think they're going to get it done at GWS and start marching towards September action, and who knows what they have when it comes to that time. But for now, Hawthorn to march into the 8 with a win against the Giants Saturday night. Sunday afternoon kicks off at the MCG, Melbourne taking on St Kilda. And I think Melbourne quite comfortably get it done here. They've got a lot to make up for with that 30-point turnaround they coughed up against Port Adelaide. And I think, even though St Kilda have been showing glimpses the last few weeks, Melbourne here should get it done by at least 40 points. If they don't, there's something wrong. This could go topsy-turvy. We've seen crazier things happen this season. St Kilda could come out and actually blast Melbourne out of the water, and this could be Melbourne's downfall, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Melbourne have players that are running too good a form to slip to St Kilda. There's a question mark over Tom McDonald, playing in a lot of good form in the last few weeks. But even if he is to be omitted, I think Melbourne still get it done quite comfortably against St Kilda Sunday afternoon. Later on Sunday afternoon, we fly on over to the West, Optic Stadium, Fremantle hosting the Brisbane Lions. You've got to back Fremantle here. I think Brisbane, even if it was on their home turf, with Harris Andrews out, and it's sickening the injury he's suffering from, I hope he recovers well enough very shortly. He's a great footballer. Number 1 ranked defender in the comp as of last week, I believe. And it's upsetting to see a player not only get rubbed out of a game due to a concussion, but then to have the brain injuries that he's been kind of having to deal with the bleeding. Very upsetting to see. Hopefully he recovers soon. But even if it was, I think Harris Andrews is a big out in that defensive line. And Fremantle would get it done in Brisbane, let alone they're going to get it done quite comfortably over in the West. I think they're going to be looking at a similar game to what we saw ago when Fremantle took on Carlton. That's pretty much, I think, that's going to go down over at Optics this weekend. They'll get it done by about 10 goals, I reckon. They're just too dominant at home, Fremantle. And they're going to, yeah, that's all I can say really against the Lions on Sunday. Which is unfortunate. I'm sorry to say it, Crip, but Fremantle just too good over there. And the round rounds out with a game yet again that could have bearing on the shaping on the top 8, because it's Essendon versus Melbourne at the Etihad. Even though Essendon are a few games out of the 8, if they win, they still are a mathematical chance to make it with their run home. However, North Melbourne have one of the cruisiest runs home in the competition so far, and I think they're going to continue with their form, and they're going to win this game, and they're going to play finals this year. Bit of egg on my face, because I did predict them to win the wooden spoon, as you guys would have known with my first predictions video and all the other times I've mentioned it since then. But they're playing in some good form with Melbourne. They looked really good in the tight contest against the Dogs last week. Big Ben Brown's going to have a field day, I think. He's going to kick 4 again. Going to be a good battle between him and Hurley. I'm looking forward to watching that. But I think North Melbourne get it done. They've been really good this year. They've been the surprise pack of the 2018 by far. And I think that they continue on with that momentum, and they storm Denver out. But Essendon don't discredit. They knocked in West Coast last week and looked very impressive. So they could upset North Melbourne here and come home with a big win and put their own stamp on that run home towards finals as well. It's a dead even heat when you look at the margins for Sportsbet. So, as I said, it's a 50-50 ball game, but I'm backing North. So to look over who I've tipped, we're going with Richmond, Geelong, Port Adelaide, Adelaide, Collingwood, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Fremantle, and North Melbourne. Be sure to get your tips in the comment section down below, guys, as you have been. And I want to thank you guys all for the support you have thrown behind this initiative. It's something we're looking at doing every round moving forward. Loving tuning into this and getting your tips in. I'm loving using this for you guys. So as long as you guys keep doing it. Here on the channel. If you have been enjoying it, guys, be sure to show your love thumbs up button. If you're new to the gameplay, go check out to do so. And if you do enjoy my content, get on board the Godzirra Nation by hitting subscribe. That notification bell as well. Whenever I go live or a brand new video comes to the channel, you get notified straight away. My social media links are down below. Hit me up. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are almost at 400 subscribers. I am going to be doing a Q&A video when the 400 hits. So if you have any questions you want answered in that video, leave them in the comment section down below or hit me up on one of my social medias as well. If you do so, I'm happy to credit any YouTube channels or social media links you'd like to be credited along with that question. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.